Welcome back to the Multifamily Marketers Podcast. I'm Josh Grillo, co-founder here at Residence 360. I'm joined alongside with my co-host, Caroline Mills. Caroline, good morning. How are you today?
Hello, good morning. Doing great. Hope you are too.
Doing amazing here in San Diego, as always. Now, today we have an exciting topic. We are talking about leveling up your floor plan pages. These are the floor plan page on your property websites. Something you know all about, right, Caroline?
Yes, absolutely.
So when it comes to floor plans, it's pretty interesting. I've just since being having a resident 360 for well over 15 years now, I've
Mhm.
seen floor plans transcend from just your black and white kind of stick figure looking 2D floor plans to these really grandiose 3D floor plans with furniture that you can move around to, now it's renderings and video, and they've really morphed into something of their own, to even some going back to 2D floor plans that are kind of colored and branded looking like that actually look really unique and cool as well. But again, it all comes back to one thing: your floor plans page on your property website. So why, Caroline, is this page so important?
Yes. So, I mean, this is truly your conversion page. This is the place where you can have the shiniest, fanciest homepage that there is. But that's, somebody needs to see where they're going to truly be living. One, they're looking for the cost of what they're looking for. But then two, does it fit for them? Do the layouts you're offering, it might be in their price range, but are you offering the layouts that they're looking for? Will their furniture fit? Which one has the best windows, which one has a kitchen island. There's a lot of different things each renter is looking for. And so this is truly where you convert them over to actually leasing with you.
Got it. Now, personal question. When it
Mhm.
comes to a floor plans page and you land on that page, right? Your property website, you go to floor plans or explore floor plans or view what's available, whatever it is, and you go over
Mhm.
to that floor plans page and you start looking at those floor plans. Does Caroline, do you like to see 2D floor plans there, or are you a bigger fan of 3D floor plans or something else?
I'm a 3D floor plan gal. I'm a very visual person, so I definitely need to see where you're fitting stuff in the space. Now, I keep in mind that my couch may not be the same size as the couch in the photo, but I do love truly getting to see a 3D floor plan, especially colors, and especially if it is with the features of the apartments. So if I can see that it's granite, then I can see that there's granite in the, bathroom and the kitchen. So I love a colored or designed 3D floor plan.
Okay. Well, you know what I like? I like actually when you go over to the floor plans page, and it actually gives me both options, right? So it has like 3D
Ah,
floor
yeah,
plan,
yeah.
and then it also has like a button for 2D. So you can see them both, right? And you
Yeah,
these
like
days you
toggle.
can make them look really, really cool,
Mm-hmm.
especially when they're side by side. And even I've seen property websites where they have a third option. They actually have like a almost like a rendering of inside the unit as well, right? So it's like you've got the 3D
Mm-hmm.
floor plan, which is pretty much like the bird's eye view looking down into it. Then you
Yeah.
got your basic 2D floor plan, and then you actually even have that visual reference, almost like a photograph of being inside that unit. I think having all three
Mhm.
options, it's if you can afford it, I think that's fantastic. Most
Yeah.
property websites, I say, do not have that though. It's usually a 2D or 3D, and I
Yeah.
think in this case, the majority of properties now have pretty much moved to doing all 3D floor plans. I mean, I think that's pretty
Mhm.
much what I see in every apartment websites I,
Me
I,
too.
I go to. What about you, Caroline? Is that what you're seeing?
That's pretty standard. And then when you said the toggle thing, that also made me think, I know we're talking about the floor plans page altogether, but I also see the toggle for, maps, like in grain maps, 3D maps, everything like that. I personally love having the toggle. I think when you restrict people to have one or the other, it's just not helping them. I've seen some where it's just they might have the 3D floor plan and then it's a hassle to try and see all of the floor plans side by side. So then you have to click every single unit on the 3D floor plan to see what two units look like. And when you're trying to compare something, maybe it's three different two-bedroom floor plans. I truly like to be able to see them side by side or comparing feature or something like that. But I love having toggles, different options. I think it gives you never know how somebody wants to view something, but I love a map. I love a virtual walkthrough of that style of floor plan specifically. Love all that.
All right. So talking about that page more specifically, the floor plans page,
Mhm.
um, is that considered the most visited page on the website? I mean, is that the longest time on page? Is that where it's all happening?
Yeah, that's a good point. It depends on, I would say, what kind of spend you're using for your ILSs and things like that. While you may have more views on the homepage, we do see longer engagement times on the floor plan page. And we can narrow this down through Google Analytics. You can see bounce rates, you can see engagement times, you can see buttons clicked on every page on a website. And we do see more engagement time on an actual floor plan page. And so while your ILSs may be leading to the homepage, people are quickly clicking over to the floor plan page. And with running Google Ads, we'll run one specifically to the floor plan page or have buttons that go to the floor plan page. It's absolutely the most interactive and has the lower bounce rates. People have high intent by the time they're usually looking on a floor plan page.
All right. So let's break it down by property class right now. Okay. And
Mhm.
and the way we're going to do this is, are they okay having 2D floor plans, or should they be invested in 3D floor plans? So we'll
Okay.
start right at, we'll say, classy property. Do they really
Yeah.
need 3D floor plans, or can they totally get by with 2D?
Class A, definitely your 3D floor plans. I would definitely be that one, like you were saying. If you have the budget, do everything you can. Have the map, have the 3D floor plan, have the 3D walkthrough, like do every visual thing you possibly can. And a lot of those are included with certain packages of different ILS providers. So definitely use it to your advantage. Get as much out of it as you can.
All right. I think you switched me around. I said class C. You started with
Ah,
class A. So
I'm
it's
sorry, I
totally
started with A.
started top of class A. So class A, absolutely,
Yeah.
without a doubt, invest in everything you possibly can to really showcase that property. Okay. Class B, what are we doing?
Okay,
2D,
Class
or
B.
do they really need to invest in 3D?
I like a 3D. I think depending on your market you're in, there can be a larger pool of probably B class properties depending on the city you're in. Raleigh, like we just have a lot of older apartments here. And so there's a lot more competition probably in the B market. And so I think having a 3D floor plan, if you say I have some money to invest in something, should that be, something on my website, some kind of like material I can use, I would say 3D floor plans, yes.
I would say absolutely too, because it's a differentiator. You're not all
Hmm.
your class B competitors are going to have 3D floor plans. So again, the visual can help sell the property. We always got to look at it
Absolutely.
like that. Now let's move. Class C. Class C, do they really need to invest in a 3D floor plan?
Class C is a good question. I know everyone heard my preference is to have them, but I will say if you only have two floor plans there, absolutely do your 3D floor plans. I do understand if you have six, seven, eight floor plans, that is a lot more of an investment to have those created. Yes, it's only a one-time thing, but say you're a management company taking over a C-class property and you only have a little bit of funds to use on digital services when you get there, I would rather see up-to-date photos of your property over a 3D floor plan. So if it's an either or, I would rather see photos. But if it's like, well, we have this money, should we use it or not? Absolutely use it. But if you don't have it, I'd rather see other visual updates or other enhancements on your website if you already have the 2D floor plans. What do you think?
All right, now let's talk about best practices. If you could design the perfect floor plans page,
Ooh,
Caroline, we're
okay.
talking about, I know you're not a designer, but let's just assume you're a designer today, right? You're
Yeah.
laying out the perfect floor plans page, right? Um,
Hmm.
what would that look like?
Okay. I would have the floor plans in a grid formation. I absolutely will stand behind that a grid performs better and we see less click through rates or bounce rates from people leaving versus it being a list where you have like all the names of all the floor plans on the side and you have to click each one to see each one at a time. That again goes against the thing, especially if you've got like more than four floor plans. I mean, if you're having to scroll through 12 floor plans and you can't see them all next to each other, I would absolutely have my 3D floor plans in a grid formation. And I would have buttons when you click onto that floor plan of being able to see a 3D walkthrough of that exact floor plan type. Now, this can take some time to do, but again, work with your ILS vendors that offer these kind of things, or just, invest into them. But I would think I would have it so you have a photo, a floor plan, and a 3D walkthrough of every single type of floor plan unit you have. And then I would include either a toggle or a second tab for an interactive site map, whether that be in grain, 3D plans, whoever you want to use. Because not only, okay, now the person has picked out which unit they like, they love the features of this one. Now let them go see it on the map and see where this one's going to be located and not locked into any kind of thing. I want to see exactly what it's like walking through, where I'm going to be looking at, what my view is going to be. And now you've given them all of that online without them having to pick up the phone or come into the office.
Very cool. Okay, what about filters? Would you have filters at the top like studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, or would you have more of like just some type of search functionality?
Yeah, I think filters can be helpful, especially if someone knows exactly what they're looking for. I would make it. The only problem I have with filters that I've seen before is sometimes if you click on them, it can be hard to get your other options back. So say someone like clicked on a 1 bedroom and now the filter's gone because they clicked 1 bedroom, or it's really hard for them to get the other ones back. Then you either see people refreshing pages or backing out of it, or you just want to make it as easy for your residents to not get as frustrated as possible. I think if you don't want to filter, put your floor plans in an order that makes sense to them. Make sure they're not scattered where it's like 3 bedroom, studio, 2 bedroom, 1. And now somebody's like, okay, now I'm confused, where I'm supposed to be looking. So either an organization way, I don't mind a filter as long as it's easy for people to navigate.
That's a good point. So the thing we always forget is that we live pretty much on desktop computers. As we're here in daytime, we're at work, we're in front of our laptops or desktops. Yeah. Residents, on the other hand, prospects, they're on their mobile phones, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like what we see on our computer is completely different from the mobile device. And
absolutely.
And one of the big things is when it comes to that floor plans page, it can be convoluted really, really quickly and get very, very confusing. Specifically, when you click a floor plan and if the floor plan photo pops up, or if it goes over to say a property management software system where it's checking availability or it's sending you to go apply now for it, it can get very, very confusing. So really spending the time to check that entire journey from, okay, on mobile device, went to floor plan page, clicked on my 1 bedroom that I'm interested in, then what happens next, right? Are we going to show them buttons for check availability of this? Are we going to show that availability, or are we going to have also a schedule tour button for this, or ask questions buttons for this? Talk to me about call to actions while we're on this right now, right? Like, so you have your floor plans page, somebody clicks on a floor plan they're interested in. What should be the ideal call to actions to have there next? What should be on that specific floor plan?
I like that you mentioned that. I was going to say that. Having a call to action, whether it be on each unit or on that page, very easy for people to find. Just like you pointed out, look at it on a mobile device. Again, I know we talked about this very early on. Don't make too many things for someone to click on a small screen. But I think having very easy to find call to actions, whether that be schedule a tour or contact us. I've seen some sites that do it really cool where if you are on that specific floor plan and you have it pulled up and you do schedule a tour or contact us, it will actually send it to the CMS of the person being interested in that kind of unit. So now it's nice. You as the leasing agent can see, okay, well, they sent this to me when they were looking at 2 bedrooms. So that's what they're interested in. While everybody may not be able to do that, I think make it easy from there. We've talked about that a lot on mobile devices and websites, but make it really easy for your prospect to ask questions, call you, schedule a tour, something to move them through that leasing process when they're on the floor plan page. Just don't make it too many. We've talked about specials on floor plan pages, not too many like pop-ups, call-outs. You don't want to distract them on that small of a screen, but just make it easy for them to look for when they're ready.
Makes sense. Yeah, I think like for me personally, when it comes to floor plans pages, I think the ideal layout is definitely grid style for sure, because it allows on a mobile device for it to really show up nicely and easy for scrolling. And you click on that floor plan you're interested in, it pulls up. It has information about a little bit about that floor plan, plus 1 to 3, I would say max buttons. So, schedule tour button could be 1. It could be view availability. Or unless that's already pulling from the property management software and it's already showing what's available, which is even
Yeah.
better, right? Or maybe there's a, ask a question button, right? Which is something I think is
Mhm.
kind of cool, but you don't see much of is like, have
Yeah.
questions, call us, have questions, press this button, and it automatically contacts the property. I think would be cool. Now, one other thing that we're seeing more of is calculators, fee transparency calculators. So
Mhm.
talk a little bit about this, Caroline.
Yeah, I think they can be helpful. Just make sure that they're set up, the right way when you're integrating all these things. I've seen them a few ways. I've seen them actually on floor plans pages, where people can put in the price of what unit they're looking for and then mandatory fees, that are required by the community. And then I've actually seen it when the person clicks the unit that they're ready for and they're moving through the application process of then seeing what it is. And you can see it like it's pretty neat both ways. You can see not only what will you owe at the time of move-in for the rest of that month, it'll prorate your rent, it'll prorate your pet fee, it'll prorate all these things. You can add in pets, it'll tell you what your mandatory trash fees are, and then you can see what it is every month going forward. I think that's especially useful if you run on daily pricing softwares, because your price of your unit can change depending on the date somebody picks. They may pick to move in on the 15th, and that's a very different price than the 20th. And so having that calculator to let them see what are they going to owe each month versus move in, I think can be very helpful. Some states are mandating and requiring it now for more fee transparency. So I think it's something we'll continue to see evolve across the board and is going to move in that direction. I would say just make sure you have it set up, again, easy for your residents to use. Don't make it, difficult for them.
Right. Now, let's talk about the bad, right? What shouldn't you
Mhm.
do on a floor plans page, right? You've seen a lot of floor plan pages, and I'm sure
Oh,
you've
yeah.
seen your share of ones that you're like, oh my goodness, this is just not good, right?
Yes.
So what what what's the bad, right? Let's point it out. What shouldn't we be doing on floor plan pages?
Oh my gosh, this will like shock you, or maybe people have seen this too, but I mean, getting there and there's absolutely no photos of any kind. Like, it's even worse if you can see that there once was a photo there and it was like taken out. So it's just like a gray box now with like an image missing icon or something like that. And it's just the name. Or seeing that it's the name of the floor plan and then no information about it. I mean, yeah, I guess you could sit there if it was a 2D drawing and be like, okay, that's one, two, okay, 3 bedrooms, it's 2 baths. How big is it? Not having the square footage on there. Like, it seems like simple things, but truly not including all the information. I know I talked about I do not like list, especially if you've got more than, 2 floor plans. Just put them in a grid formation and making it easy. I have been to one site that I can think of off the top of my head where they would require you to go through an ingrain map first before ever getting to see like the floor plans in like an applying stage. And so if you wanted to compare these 2 bedrooms, you were sitting there clicking every single unit on the entire ingrain map before you found what even was a 2 bedroom. Even if you use the filter, well, now they have 3 different styles of 2 bedrooms, and you're just clicking around the map like, can I see a floor plan photo? Now I'm just like, I'm continually clicking and I can't find anything. Well, now I'm trying to go back and forth. It's people get too frustrated. So just make it seems like, oh, well, if it's a grid, it's just so simple. But sometimes simple is better in a sense. Like make sure they have all the information they need, but don't feel like it has to be over the top.
Absolutely. I would say my biggest thing that I've seen is blurry 3D
Yeah.
floor plans. Like they're either pulling from the property management software, they're just blurry in general, and they're uploaded that
Like
way.
re-screenshotting them over and
But
over again.
but the worst is you see like even as simple as like a 2D floor plan, but it's blurry. And then you see a lot of them on the page, right? So all of a sudden you got
Yeah.
20 floor plans. They're all black and white and they're blurry, right?
Yeah.
Staring at
It's
you. It's the
worse.
worst. And again, 3D floor plans, not any better, right?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
blurry as well. So I think
Yeah.
those are, to me, that's the biggest. It's like literally look at these photos and make sure that they are, legible. It's like they're
Yeah.
clear,
Yeah.
right? They're not so optimized. I think what happens is we get in this world of optimizing stuff down for the web.
Mhm.
We optimize it so much that they come across as just unrecognizable, right? They
Yeah.
become blurry, in other words. So
Yeah.
just
That's a good
being
one.
weary of that. I mean, that's one of the things that I have definitely come across more often than not. All
Mhm.
right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this episode up. Just one last thing. Any last tips when it comes to really leveling up the floor plan page on a property website?
I say checking it often. I think we as either digital marketers or the site, we know what's going on our property and that, what's going on renovation wise or how many we have of each floor plan. Just making sure it flows smoothly and it's all working as it should be, I think is key number one. And then just making sure, like you said, it's not blurry. Your square footage is there. Your availability is pulling the way that it should for your website. And just making sure it's working properly. That's where you're trying to capture that traffic. Just make sure that is really performing well.
I think that's a really good tip. That's right. Check it often. Just don't set it and forget it. Make sure the actual journey is easy for your prospect. I mean, that's really it. Keep what they say, keep it simple, stupid, right? Is that kind of it? Keep it easy, right? At the end of the day, let's just make it easy. Specifically, somebody's on a mobile device, right? They need to be able to get over to that floor plans page, number one. They need to see those floor plans and see what you have available. And that will help you capture a lot more leases. All right. I think that's a wrap for this show, Caroline. Thank you again for your insight on 3D floor plan pages or floor plan pages in general. And we'll see you guys next week. Appreciate everybody listening. And please like, subscribe, share with your teammates. And we will see you next week on another episode of the Multifamily Marketers Podcast. Take care, Caroline. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.